Welcome to the World of Rare Disease, a show that focuses on awareness and education about rare and complex disorders. My name is Lisa Deck, and I'm a Rare New England Committee member and your host for today's show. Today, our show features Eden Lord. Eden is a mother of four and a passionate and accomplished rare disease advocate. With her husband, in honor of her rare disease daughter, Eden founded the Cambria Lord Foundation in 2010. She is also the founder of the Rare Fair, which is the only 100% virtual conference for the global rare disease community. The goal of the Rare Fair is for attendees to gather, connect, and inspire. Eden is also the founder and CEO of My City Med, which is her vision for an online health and medical resource site. Today, our show will focus on the Rare Fair and also touch on the additional work that Eden and her family do on behalf of the rare disease community. Eden, I am so thrilled to welcome you here today.
Thank you so much for having me.
So I may have just answered this first question, but I'd love to get your opinion on the Rare Fair. And to all our viewers, I apologize. I have a Boston accent, so I know I'm not saying that correctly, but Eden will say it correctly.
Saying it perfectly.
Excellent. So tell us about the Rare Fair, your vision and how it has come to fruition.
So the Rare Fair was really designed to reach those patients at home who weren't able to travel to ground events. So we know that there are fantastic events that are hosted all over the world for the rare disease community. Some are disease specific, some are very general, but that person who is unable to travel and is sitting at home because they've either got a rare disease kid, there might be financial burdens associated with travel, there might be just medical constraints. You know, you'd be surprised at how difficult it is to cart an oxygen tank and all these other medical supplies through an airport. So we really wanted to create an event that was inclusive and diverse and represented a variety of different rare disease populations, but really met people where they were and said, you're here, you've got a seat at the table, we've saved it for you, your voice belongs in this discussion, and we want you to feel engaged and a part of the community. So that was really kind of our goal in launching a virtual platform and a virtual event where we could have everybody participate.
So I have been lucky to participate in the Rare Fair, and I would love for you to explain to our viewers a bit about the unique structure of it. So it is not just a Zoom like this. It's a little bit different. So can you tell us about that?
It is not just a Zoom. It is actually set up to mimic an actual event space. So when you go into your typical event space, you have your lobby area, then you break off into like an auditorium area, your expo center, there's a lounge. So all of the technology is designed to mimic that actual physical space and give people that same kind of experience from their own home. Our favorite part is when somebody will text in and say, you know, I've got my slippers on, I've got my hot cup of coffee, and I'm ready to go. I'm in the auditorium. So we wanted to really give them that kind of one-to-one experience and show them, you know, this is how it goes down at a regular event. This is what you think you might be missing, but we're bringing it to you now, so nobody's missing anything anymore. And you've got the opportunity to go visit those expo booths or exhibitor booths and learn about different companies, learn about different treatments, clinical trial options, and really network with other families and patients in the lounge area, talk to other people who might share a diagnosis, or discuss some of the topics that a lot of us share in common, even if we have a different diagnosis, like how do you manage your child's rare disease? How do you manage a rare disease for a spouse? What are some of the challenges with caregiving? So we really just wanted to create that kind of cohesive environment and make it accessible and easy to navigate. And I think we've done that, and we continue to add really cool new features every year. And we're just having a really great time with it. It's amazing to see all of these people connect from across the globe.
Right. And so this year, I want you to tell us the dates for this year and what can we expect? I think you're talking about it, but a little bit more. I think there's a very nice point, something new that you did this year, so that you can get as many participants as possible. So I'd love
we did a couple of new things this year. My husband is a saint, so Rare Fair is actually 3 days this year instead of 1, because we have fantastic content and programming. We have a Rare Tech Hall that we've introduced for the first time, lots of panel discussions, but previously we had tried to keep ticket prices as low as possible, and this year we were able to totally do away with any kind of patient or caregiver ticket fee whatsoever, and it is free to any patient or caregiver who wants to attend regardless of where they are in the world. We just want people to have access to some really fantastic resources.
I love it because I remember seeing that this was your dream and you were
It
making it.
was.
So I think that's awesome because it really is just a free resource with excellent content that you can just from home, especially in this time of the pandemic, you can go on and be part of that. So I think that's awesome. So in your spare time too, you also run My City Med. Can you talk to us about that?
We
This
do. We're actively in the middle of a rebuild, and we'll be relaunching around about the time of Rare Fair. And My City Med is really designed to be a roadmap. So when you do have that diagnosis and that rare disease that's kind of handed to you, where do you start? And one of our primary goals is to shine the light in the direction of the people who are doing it right. So like Rare New England, if you're in that part of the country, you need assistance, but you're really starting at ground zero, we want to direct people to the resources that we know are going to help them best. So it's really a roadmap that starts from symptoms and diagnosis and treatment options and leads them all the way through, shares nonprofit organizations, events, which I know we don't have very many of right now, but virtual 5Ks, things like that, and journal articles, really a cohesive place for a diagnosis that points people to the resources that are doing it right and that are valid, and that like if you look at Medline Plus and how they ask you to evaluate a credible resource, we're going out, we're doing those evaluations, and we're bringing the very best to people so they know that it's a reliable resource.
Excellent. So it seems like so much of the work you're doing is kind of, compiling and providing, and it's all very, connected, I guess is the word I'm looking for. So when we talk about kind of these different things you're doing, what is one of your favorite things that you work on?
Oh man, it's so hard. My favorite is when I see people interacting, whether that would be on one of our online forums. Our goal is to replace Facebook. I probably shouldn't say that, but our goal is to replace Facebook. So people have an opportunity to have this online chat forum on My City Med and ask difficult questions, but they can also be cloaked when they ask those questions. So they've got a degree of privacy that they didn't necessarily have before, and the opportunity to ask a question that they might not have considered asking in an open platform. But because we are very sensitive about security and privacy and trolling and all of those things, we know who you are on the back end if we need to, but let's give people a safe space to talk. So when we see those dialogues and people are able to exchange information freely and talk about their life experiences, that excites me like you wouldn't believe, because people are making that connection with someone they might not be able to make the connection with because of geography, different life situations, things like that. And then also that plays into that as well is the dialogues we see at our online events like the Rare Fair, and people get so revved up and excited, and they're in there and they're viewing the content and they're talking about it, and they're saying, you know what, I've got this form about how to talk to my child's piano teacher about their rare disease diagnosis. I am going to take these 10 best tips and I'm going to share them with this person, and I'm going to talk to my kid's piano teacher, then I'm going to go talk to the soccer coach. But it starts all of these dialogues, and it really shows that the rare disease community, we are, as you said, so interdependent and so connected, and we're really stronger as a group. And when we have these kinds of events and people are able to bring their voice to the table and bring what they have to share and contribute to the conversation, it's awesome. This is how we get past that only 5% have treatments and options for the 7,000 diagnoses, is together. And it's going to take all of us working together across different disease groups to identify commonalities and where we can share resources and really just come at it as a team.
I love it. I think you took the words out of my mouth. I mean, I think in the rare community, we are all stronger together. And I think that by bringing everybody to the table or to the laptop or whatever it is nowadays,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a great way to make that happen. So just, the future, what's in the future for you? I know you mentioned a couple things, but, what are your future initiatives or dreams?
So one of the things we're most excited about working on for the future is an initiative called Rare 72. And Rare 72, the whole concept behind it is, as we all know, 72% of rare diseases are genetic, but it's really a 72-hour window in which we collaborate globally with rare disease stakeholders for a specific disease group and bring together every resource that we possibly can, whether that be a Facebook group or an online support group or a journal article or a new clinical trial. and bring all of that information together in a single spot. So we create this massive data repository and then evaluate the credibility and feasibility of using some of these studies and using criteria to really analyze whether or not a resource is valid and whether or not it's, you know, up to date, and to really identify synergies. So if someone is working on a rare disease diagnosis in a lab in Berlin and somebody else, guess what, is working on it in Argentina, let's make those connections and let's share that information. Let's stop duplicating where we possibly can and start sharing information and data and efforts and resources and really try to make some headway. So that's something that we're looking forward to launching. I actually think we're starting with newborn screening and talking about the different levels of where we're at, you know, state by state, where we need to be, who's doing what and on which initiatives, and really creating that baseline to see where we need to go in the future. But bringing everybody to the table and saying, where are you at? What have you got? And how can we help each other? So we're really, really excited about that coming out.
Excellent. So there's just more and more coming from Eden and Jeff and their team.
There is. It keeps us out of trouble if we're busy.
Well, it sounds, you must not be getting in too much trouble then, I'm sure. So just in the end, talking about the Rare Fair, I would love for you to tell our viewers how they can get involved, how they can participate, where should they go for more information, all of those details.
Absolutely. You can go to therarefair.com and check out our trailer that we have for the event this year. It's kind of a new little thing that we've added, but you can also see the agendas and learn about our speakers and who's going to be participating. Sign up for tickets and register, again, for free. Patients and caregivers, no charge whatsoever, but just, you know, mark it on your calendars. Come and go as you please. The whole space will be open for 30 days after the event closes. So if you miss it live on event day, there are replays. So you're not really missing anything at all. And all of our exhibitors check in regularly. So if there would be someone you wanted to connect with and you missed them during that 3-day window of live time, they'll be back. They'll get a notification. They'll know that you have a question and they will reach back out. So our goal is to really have a fun and interactive 3-day period, but then make everything accessible for that 30 days after. So people know, I might pop back in there in a week or two. And, you know, there might even be some surprises that we add in there just to get people to come back and check into the space and see if there's any contacts or relationships that they can make and forge.
Excellent. Well, that sounds great. Ooh, excellent. So I just want to, I think that's all actually. Is there anything else you wanted to mention about the Rare Fair? Anything we forgot to discuss?
Well, I'm very, very hopeful that Rare New England will be making an appearance at the Rare Fair this year on a panel discussion that we'll be having regarding the media and how Rare Fair is, the Rare community is really kind of infiltrating that space in the most amazing way possible and bringing Rare into these channels and making it accessible to people on different platforms. You know, it's not just reading a journal article in a book anymore. When you can dial up Rare New England and see Lisa Deck and, you know, get the person that's kind of behind that story, it's amazing. And we want to celebrate things like that. So we're excited.
Well, thank you so much. Yeah, it's awesome to see collaboration in this community. And I think that is what we're continuously seeing. So in closing, I do want to explain a little bit about our new Rare New England in Motion segment. This video that we just filmed with Eden Lord will be showcased on Facebook Live on August 10th at 5 p.m. You can tune in live to see Eden, see her show that we just recorded, and then you can interact live with Eden and members of the Rare New England staff to discuss and answer questions that people bring up, and just kind of to learn more and again, to collaborate and be together in discussing things. Rare New England in Motion feels like the perfect way to expand upon our mission of engaging with our community. I want to say a very big thank you to Eden for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. Love talking to you.
Feel the same. It's awesome. So that's our show for today. From all of us at Rare New England and the patients and families who keep rare disease in motion, thank you for watching. And remember, when you hear hoofbeats, think horses, then think zebras. Thank you.